You can't be ERPing on your character, on your triple legend. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's weird. That's weird. Hello, cat girls, dudes playing bunnies, and WoW refugees, and welcome to a Final Fantasy XIV video. The title of this video itself is probably triggering to at least 75% of the player base. Why, after all, would you level in alt when you can do all the jobs on the same character? Nay, when the game itself seems to say to you, hey, you don't need an alt. In fact, if you ever want to buy panties from the Mog station, because it is not account wide. If you want to buy panties from the Mog station, you gotta buy it for every single character. But for those of you who like to think outside the box, for those of you who like to do the impossible, who like to go where most people don't bother going, I have come up with some actually good and not obvious reasons to make an alt in Final Fantasy. Now, personally, I myself have recently made an alt, something I thought I would never do. Frankly, I hate alts in games. I almost never play alts in games. I'm shocked I can even do an alt in this game, and I think that's a testament to how much I just like the game. Number one, I wanted to relearn and learn classes I'd already dabbled with. So I have like an 80 ninja, for example, but yeah, mudras are a thing. Yeah, fuck those things. So I went and I got myself a proper gaming keyboard, all right? And when I got this keyboard, I was having so much fun pressing the buttons that I was like, I need to remap all the buttons I'm used to my keyboard. So this, my friends, brings me back to the reason one to make an alt. If you're trying to relearn a new keybind stuff that's maybe more competitive, easier to press, even if it's not easier for you, but like you want to learn that muscle memory, I think that's a pretty good reason to just level a whole new character so that things come at you like kind of slower, you know. I mean, it's a good reason to level a separate job too. You could just do that. Your girl over here trying to be a perfect legend one day, you know what I'm saying? All right, reason number 2 to level it out in Final Fantasy: Reshades and immersion. So a lot of people, including myself, first played the game either on less good hardware, or they've just been playing it for a long time. There's something called G-Shade, and it's not illegal. It's not like considered a third party. It's not bannable. You know, like you're not get banned for using G-Shade. In fact, everyone with GeForce experience uses G-Shade because they literally have a reshader built into the software, and it automatically hooks in and is officially supported by Final Fantasy. So I don't want to hear anybody in the comments being like, oh, you're gonna get banned for G-Shade. No, I'm fucking not. All right, there's some presets for G-Shade that have come out that are absolutely insanely glorious. Like it looks like pretty next gen. It's beautiful, and being sort of like forced to go through the whole game again, including like just side quests and unlocks and stuff, is really gonna like show you parts of the game that you otherwise probably would never go to on your own again, and you probably haven't been in maybe even years. And everything just looks so different. It really is a whole new experience. So you don't, as much as you might think, oh, I'm gonna hate unlocking this again or doing that again, like I promise I've been doing it and I'm having a blast, and it really does just feel like a really fresh whole new game. I mean, I remember when I first started playing Final Fantasy, I was just playing on like a dinky laptop and just chilling with it. But like playing it on some actual hardware, running like a baller G-Shade, the one I use is called Replenish Life. I'll probably make a whole video about it at some point because I'm a huge fan. I love pretty graphics. I love eye porn. Like I like things that look pretty. I like particle effects. You know, my eyeballs like to be tickled. I don't know what to tell you, but it's another good reason to kind of re-experience the game. Reason number 3, and probably the most important reason to make an alt in Final Fantasy, is retainers. Now, this is a widely overlooked aspect of the game. A lot of people, including myself, do not leverage retainers to their fullest capabilities. If you play this game for any amount of time and you get really into it and you decide, man, I need a lot of space because inventory management in this game is actually dog shit, it's possible and fairly likely that you will end up paying for at least one or more retainers for your account in order to basically have more bank space and more space for your crafting and whatnot. And the thing is, and a lot of people don't automatically realize this because the Mog Station is super weird about what's account wide and what isn't, but buying retainers is account wide. The next reason is if you like hardcore content, if you like raids, if you have different friend groups you think you'd want to play with, the raid loot system is kind of weird in this game, where if someone has already obtained their loot from a raid, then it like makes the loot pool worse for everybody else in the raid. So people won't bring people if they have already looted the boss. An alt for you to raid otherwise with would be a pretty good option. So the next reason to have an alt is kind of a funny one, but perhaps you've been around the game for a while. Perhaps you have a crown icon or the like. Perhaps you've developed a bit of a reputation in Limsa Laminsa and people know your name. Well, my friend, if you level an alt, it will, get this, be reset to Sprout icon. And we all know who is truly at the top of the Final Fantasy XIV social hierarchy, my friends. It is not the glamourers, it is not the housing decorators, and it is certainly not the hardcore raiders. It is, my friends, the fucking Sprouts. No one else in this game will have people simply bow down, stop what they're doing, abandon their grinds the way the Final Fantasy XIV community will the second they see that little sprouty sprout. So if you're feeling a little lonely, if you feel like people just don't treat you the way they used to, maybe just make an alt, get that little sprout icon, and the world will absolutely open up, my friend. Limitless opportunities will abound to you. People will treat you like a fucking king. Get that little sprout icon. So if you're feeling a little down and want some special treatment, highly recommend making an alt just to be a sprout again. I feel like I've already sold you on like why you should like level an alt in Final Fantasy, but in case you're not yet, I give you yet another reason. One that more applies is to New Game Plus. If you replay the story, you're definitely going to pick up on like crazy foreshadowing, and it really adds to the enjoyment because stuff will stick out at you as you're reading and going through the cutscenes that just didn't the first time around. And that's like really cool when you see those little things sprinkled out and you realize just like exactly how well written and tight the story in this game is. Yeah, I said that. I said it's tight. That's it. It's innocent. I swear. But adding on to that, I remember when I know a lot of other people are like me, when I first went through the story, I kind of, I want to say like, wasn't in a hurry necessarily to get to endgame, but I definitely wasn't like, I wasn't like really slowing down and smelling the roses, because I was always so motivated to like, what's the next zone? What's the next thing that's going to happen? Like what Stormblood look like, what Shadowbringers look like, and I was just like so eager to see like what lays beyond that I didn't quite like immerse myself in the moment. And surprisingly, the game is extremely immersive, especially if you have a reshade on. I for one love seeing my characters in the little cutscenes. I think that's one of the most fun parts. It's just like watching the character I created and the titty mods I may or may not use present in the cutscenes and stuff. I get very immersed in the hypothetical existence of my titty mods. But the thing is if you make an alt and you're going through it a second time, you could really slow down because you already know where you're going, so you're not as worried about like you don't have that like feeling of like I just want to find everything and see everything, you know. So it really allows you to again pick up on things you wouldn't have the first time. But I would say these reasons apply to just New Game Plus. It's just another thing to add to the list of all these other good reasons to have an alt. And the last, and perhaps the most important, the most degenerate, the most absolutely Final Fantasy XIV reason there is to make an alt in this game. You already know. I don't need to say it. If you play this game seriously, you know, if you're out there trying to, you know, get relics and kill Alexander and clear savage raids and stuff, you can't be known as that guy asking for weird things in the court club. You can't be like, oh yeah, I know that guy, he pays for ERP. You know, you can't. You gotta keep it separate, man. You can't just be all out. You can't be ERPing on your character, on your triple legend. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's weird. If you're gonna ERP, you got to do it discreet. You can't have your FC knowing. You can't have your, what if your static knew about your proclivities? You know, I mean, maybe you don't care. And also, it's your serious character, right? Like you it probably looks cool. You know, what if you want to ERP as a little, you know, as a cat girl? You know, what if you want to be a bunny dominatrix? Like, you know. Oh, I mean, what if you want to get up to some weird furry shit that I absolutely would never even dream of? That's completely not anything I would ever remotely think about in that way. But yeah, you absolutely, if you're gonna ERP seriously in this game, you need a separate character for it, or else it's weird. And everybody knows it. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure, if you want more Final Fantasy 14 videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment in the comments if you have ideas or things you want to hear from me. Having a lot of fun with this stuff, and hope you are too. Love you guys so much.